I'm now live. All right. So I wanted to kind of go over like the basic details of the program because I've been getting a lot of questions about it, and so I appreciate you guys joining in and listening. So if you have any questions, again, type it in the chat box, or you can always unmute yourself and then just let me know what questions you got. So I sent everybody the application and the information packet. So if you didn't get a chance to look at it, definitely look at that. It is a lot of information, so I think like a lot of people were interested, and then they read it and they saw that and they were like, whoa, we didn't realize how serious or how involved the program was. So I did spend like a lot of time planning it, thinking about it, and kind of I don't want it to be like a program that's kind of like half done, So I definitely, this is the first time I am doing any kind of like fitness challenge. So this is sort of a pilot program. But it's one of those things where I want to continue to do it in the future if it is successful. So with that being said, it's developed in a way that it is for the summer right now, but it's going to be something that can carry over in the future. So it's not like just this one time, all the time. So, most of you guys know me. I'm not a big fan of these like 60-day quick fixes, 21-day fixes. If you've done it and you've been successful at it, by all means, kudos to you. But I feel like in my experience as a physical therapist and as a fitness instructor for as many years as I've been doing this, we lead ourselves into too much disappointment when we get into that phase. Like, all right, I'm going to take 21 days and I'm going to binge, like I'm going to deplete myself of carbs, I'm going to, put myself in this like crazy routine that realistically isn't realistic. I mean, you're ultimately setting yourself up for failure because you're more than likely not going to be able to sustain whatever this type of program is. So when I was developing this program, my ideas are to really make this like a reality check that is a shift to a lifestyle change in a way. Most of this is basically to kickstart you into a regimen that is consistent, that is regular, and that is really easy to keep up with. Because I feel like if it's not realistic, then we're setting ourselves up for failure essentially. Now, what I could say from my experience is all I am and all I ever have been for my whole fitness career is been consistent. So it's all about being consistent on a regular routine and being disciplined. And then once you get to your achieved goal, everything in moderation, But you can never really deplete yourself from what your body needs. And so that's why I'm not a fan of like, don't eat carbs. Okay, I need to fit into a dress for a day, so don't, let's do a million sit-ups and go for a month and sweat and wear a sweater. When people wear sweaters to the gym and they sweat extra, like, there's enough research out there that we know that those are all fads. Like that's not healthy weight loss. So that's really where I'm going with this program. It will be personalized. That's why I've asked everybody to give me their exact schedule. Like, I want to know, like, your life. Like, tell me everything about you. Like I had a girl who she already put her application in, and she said, I work 7 to 5. And then I said, no, I need to know, like, what do you do on the weekends? Where do you go when you go out to eat? Like, just give me as many details as you can because it really will help me in terms of, like, understanding your lifestyle. Because when I'm giving you a 60-day program, like, I don't want it to be so much of a shock either. Like, okay, if you enjoy going to Chick-fil-A once a week, then we realistically can make that work, but you can't be doing it every day. You see what I mean? So this is kind of where we have to be self-disciplined and understand that it's all about what we put in is what we get back. I mean, it seems like it's way more complicated than that, but it's not. It's calories in, calories out. That's it. So most of us have trouble because, one, we don't put enough in and we put too much out, or the opposite. So it's like finding that balance between how much calories do I expend realistically in a day, and then how can I achieve successful gains or losses. Well, if you want to gain weight or like gain muscle, then you have to eat more calories. If you want to lose weight, then you have to deplete calories. So most of us, if believe it or not, don't eat enough. Like, and even I'm a victim of it. I did my macro diets, and no joke, 4,000 calories a day that wants me to eat. Like, that's my recommendation. 4,000 I'm supposed to be eating. So I know that I don't eat that much, but that if I did, could you imagine what my body would look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, not to be conceited, but that's like 4,000 calories is a lot to eat, but that would basically make my body like the best it would ever be, you know? So that's kind of why the application's there. It's you give me as much information as you can. I'm going to use probably Google Calendar because we can share our schedules. So I'll be able to like input things into your calendar and say, okay, today you're going to do this, today you're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's in terms of like your schedule. So that's why as quick as you can get your applications in, the better, so I can get working on that, because I am going to spend time on really setting up a schedule. And it's not going to be a drastic thing right away. It's going to be gradual, because that, again, that's the realistic thing about the program. Like, I'm not going to tell you, like, if you only work out 3 times a week, I'm not going to tell you work out 7 days a week now the first week, because it's just, you're going to burn out, and this is not about burnout either. So it's really about the gradual buildup of being disciplined on a regular schedule, you know, with a balance of exercise and nutrition. All right, and so the nutrition aspect, yes, it's going to be really, really hard. Like, knowing how much you eat is really difficult, because you have to basically like weigh out what you eat, and you can't just estimate it, because unless you're like you've been doing it a long time and you know what you're doing, like you really have to measure it. So that's why I said getting a food scale, and I have 2 food scales to show you. So here's one. It basically it's you tar it. You put what you're going to measure, like let's say you're going to measure something like some liquid, so you would measure what you're measuring, tar it in that, and then put the liquid in, and then you would see what you're eating or drinking. So these you can get like Bed Bath & Beyond, Walmart, Amazon. They just look like simple like scales like that. So based on what your application says, you're going to get a caloric recommendation that you're supposed to eat a week, and then that's where you're going to say, okay, and that's why I'm recommending using FitnessPal, because that's a really good app to log your calories. Does everybody kind of know MyFitnessPal? Or if you have your own thing that you've already do, I'm cool with that too. Like, you don't have to use FitnessPal. But FitnessPal is pretty, it's one of the more common ones, so that's why I used it, and I feel like it's very user-friendly. So it's up to you, because again, this is your program, this is your thing, and you have to be honest with yourself. So if you're going to log, you know, if you want to do it on paper, do it on paper, but you have to be able to keep track somehow. So that's kind of how it's going to be. I'm going to tell you this is how much you should be eating, measure it out. Once you start eating the same meals, like let's say you always eat 2 eggs and a piece of toast for breakfast, that will always be a setting in your FitnessPal, so you would just click on that. It's challenging in the beginning because you have to input everything. But once you're on a set routine and a schedule, and again, you really should just be eating like consistent things every day. Like, you should really have a consistent diet, and so that's how you're going to be able to track if you are being consistent, you know. So it'll put you in that balance. It'll say, okay, look at, you can like really like track everything that you're doing. Let me just kind of show you. I'm going to do a screen share, so don't freak out. Just going to leave for a second. So I'll show you guys FitnessPal. Start screen share, present. Don't freak out. It's so funky. I don't know why it does that. Okay. Can you see my FitnessPal right here? Anyone?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I'm sure you are familiar, but if you're not, it's going to be simple. So you go to food diary, add food. It's so like easy to do. Recent, you can even go to your frequent, search your food database. Like, let's say you want like chicken, you could put like chicken from wherever you're going to eat, and then it'll put it in. You know, there's a lot of things like already inputted. That's why I kind of like it, because it's so common, like everybody uses it. So let's say you always eat at a certain restaurant, like a certain menu, you can go in and type in, you know, what it is. So if you are considering doing the program, go familiarize yourself with MyFitnessPal or some kind of application that you can log your calories. The exercise part, you know, I'm not a big, to me, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal to present the exercise portion as much as it is going to be the food. Because really, in 60 days, you're not going to see this drastic change of your you know, body in terms of like don't set unrealistic goals and be like, I want to lose 50 pounds, because it's like, it's not realistic. So you're going to more see like small changes in terms of like your circumference and how you feel, your energy levels, your strength levels, like things like that. So if you want to put the exercise in just to help you see the calories, you can, but I really would focus more on the food for the calorie part. And then the whole point system that I have set up for the program. So basically, like, I did want to make this sort of a challenging thing in terms of like you guys are competing with yourself and each other. So it's going to be based on a point system. I haven't even really created the point system yet, but it'll be like everything that we have assigned to do for that week or that day will have points. And if you do it, you submit it, whatever the requirement is for that day or that week, then you get the points for that. But realistically, if you want to make this more of like a personal thing and you're like, I'm not even trying to do the point thing, I'm not into that, don't worry about it. It's not like this big deal. You don't have to like make it about the challenge, okay? If you're a competitive person, you want to make it about the challenge, like, you know, then it'll help you be more accountable and be consistent and stay on it. So just think of it like that. But you don't have to stress out about it. Like, I know Tina was saying she's kind of nervous because I put in there like bonus points if you do social media posts, which, you know, obviously I want people, you know, these kind of challenges like inspire other people. So I want you to be inspiring your friends and your family and posting about it, because it'll then also promote the program and then also promotes like healthy lifestyle. So it's all around, just the whole social media aspect of it is really just to create publicity for it. So if you're not comfortable with it, then no big deal, but you'd be surprised how much you can inspire others by just doing simple things like, hey, I had this great breakfast today and I had this workout and I feel great, because your friends are probably sitting on the couch, you know, eating potato chips. So not saying they are, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a nice way to boost up your friends. So any kind of like questions, general, you know, thoughts or feedback? Nothing?
So I have a question. So I was looking at like how to count your macros, right? And it's like protein, carbohydrates, fats, right? Are you gonna have like recommendations for each of those categories, or are we gonna
Yes.
like wing it?
No, I'm going to base it. The diet is based off of that website I gave you guys called If It Fits Your Macros. And
Okay.
the guy is awesome. Like he promotes everything in moderation. So he's saying don't deplete yourself from the foods that your body's supposed to eat. Just eat it in a balance. So according to your lifestyle, the application that you fill out, that's how I'm going to input it into the, you can even go figure it, you can even go fill out the application too on on the website and find out right now for yourself. It's quick. And then you play around with those numbers as you get more accustomed to how the diet works. But yeah, I'm going to say 30 grams of this, 100 grams of this, you know, whatever grams of this, so that you guys know how much you should be eating per day. And let's say 2 weeks into it, you're like, my energy's not up, or it's a constant monitoring process. It's a learning experience, and it's a really good experience overall, like to really understand what you're doing and what you're putting in your body. So in that sense, it's going to be where we can go back and say, all right, adjust your carbs to a little bit more and lower your protein to this. You see what I mean? So we're going to play around with the numbers, obviously, throughout the program as we go. If you guys haven't researched it yet, go look it up. It looks like a website that's kind of like, you're like, this is like BS. But I mean, I know so many people who have done it, like fitness people, like people that are like not, you know, creditable people. My boyfriend being one of them. So he was like probably the most successful person I've seen do this, because he like was so obsessive about weighing it out, seeing how much he was eating, and he was like in the best shape of his life. So, you know, and I think in terms of like, even for me, like it's going to be hard. I'm going to do the challenge also because I want to be experiencing it with you guys. So it's going to be hard for me because I know that I don't really have to measure my food, but if I'm going to do it, I want to be able to do it. So it's like that part of the whole being disciplined with, if you go out to eat, you have to kind of like go in, look what's in your Fitness Pal, look at how much you're going to be, like it's all about planning ahead. Like if you want to, you know, you want to go out to dinner, you're like, Friday night, I know I'm going out to dinner. Like basically your whole day has to revolve around that dinner. Like what you eat in the morning, what you eat at night, maybe the night before, because it's all going to calculate around the calories that you ate. But so anyway, we're talking mainly about the diet part of this, and I don't want to intimidate you because I don't want you to think it's only about that, because it's more of like a, if you don't do that part of a challenge, then you won't really see any sort of results. You know what I mean? Like we all know it's what we eat. Like we are what we eat, you know? So adding that into the exercise routine will only prove successful outcomes, you know? And then the whole thing I'm doing with the challenges, like, so things like we'll be part of a text group, kind of like what I have for my online group. I have like a text, you know, thing where you get like announcements, and it'll say, okay, guys, this week, or maybe it'll be an individual thing. It just kind of depends on what you guys want out of it. Today you have 3 options. You can run a mile, you can do 100 burpees, or you can go for a swim. And it'll be some kind of challenge. And then there'll be weekly challenges where it'll be a little bit bigger of a challenge in terms of like the length of it or whatever. I'll have you do some options. And that's kind of why I want, in your application, I want to know, like, do you go to a gym? Do you have a park that you could go to? Do you have a pool? So I can know what I'm like working with. And then that weekly challenge is what I was saying is required to be like submitted to me as a minute video or picture, some kind of proof that you did it, so that you can get the points for that. So that's really, it doesn't have to be posted on social media. You can send it to me in a text, you can send it to me in an email, you can, you know, as long as I have some kind of proof that you did it, then you get the points. you know, that's really kind of the basis of it, and it's, you know, 60 days. So it's gonna be extensive. It's a commitment, and I mean, I don't want to play it like it's gonna be this easy thing, because it's not. You know, it is definitely gonna be challenging, but I want you to also think of it as a way to kickstart you into being in a regular, you know, healthy lifestyle. You know, and not putting yourself in this, okay, unrealistic goals, because unrealistic goals lead to dissatisfaction, you know, and then, yeah, will we see results? Yes, but then we're back in the same boat we are in, and we go in the same circle over and over again. So that's kind of the basis around what I want to do. Did I say everything? I'm so like, I feel like I have so much to say. Is any other questions or anything? No. Yes.
The only question I have, Maria, is when you sign up, how do I know which category? Like, you have different discounts for the people who already have your like online workouts. How do I know which one?
That was all. So if you are currently doing my Meltdown program, let me explain that part. So if you're doing the Meltdown workouts, you get, in this program, you're going to get free access to the Meltdown, any volume you want. So if you've done volume 5 and you want to move on to 6, then you can get free access to that volume. So whatever you're on, you're going to continue in that volume until that volume ends, but you're going to select the Meltdown. You're a Meltdown and Muscle Up client. If you're just doing the live workouts, you only do the live, you don't do the videos, then you're considered a live workout subscriber. And then if you're just a online, you know, you're just a 60-day, you're signing up, then you're the 60-day rate. And then there's the $10 off if you sign up before the 30th. So, and that's really just because I'm trying to get you guys to submit the applications, because I want to start getting going with the planning. But I really don't want to do like more than 10 people. I'm thinking I really want it to be more intimate in the beginning. So I'm probably going to do like a cutoff at a certain time, and I'll keep you guys posted if I'm starting to get close to the cutoff, not to put pressure on you, because I'm not by any means trying to solicit you, but it would really just more be like, all right, I'm starting to get full here. Are you serious about joining? If you are, then subscribe. So you would be, if you have a Meltdown package, you would choose the Meltdown workout. Does that answer your question?
Maria, I haven't done your online classes. Do we need any like equipment to do the exercise?
Yeah. Yeah, so you would need a resistance band, a set of dumbbells, and then I use a kettlebell, but you can use, like, if you want to get 2 sets of dumbbells, like a set of dumbbells, one heavier, one light, you can use the heavier dumbbell as your kettlebell. See what I mean? Like, if you don't want to buy a kettlebell. But for sure, a set of weights and a resistance band.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And you guys are going to get, so the workout portion, you're going to get 2 videos a week from the Meltdown program. But those videos expire after 7 days, so technically you can do those videos a couple times that week. You don't only have to do them once. Then you're going to get access to any of the live classes that I teach. Because I'm doing the 60-day program, I'm probably going to add another workout in, like another live one on randomly, like, hey, I'm going to do an 8 p.m. class, or I'm going to do a Sunday class. I'm pretty generous like that. Like, I will try to add as many workouts as additional workouts that I can, but as you know, majority of them are 6 a.m. You know, Tuesday through Friday, I do 6 a.m. Tomorrow is 5:30 a.m., so sometimes they're earlier, which sucks, but sometimes it happens. Oh yeah, by the way, tomorrow is 5:30.
Oh yeah.
So. You know, sounds amazing. And then you're going to get 3 additional written workouts. It's going to say, this is your workout, it's going to be this, whatever. It's all written. It's not like something I'm doing with you live, but it's a written workout. So that's where, like, if you have a pool, or you have a treadmill at home, or you have, you know, a stationary bicycle, or you have access to a gym, I need to know all that, because that's how I'm going to write your workouts. You know what I mean? And then you're going to get another video that I'm going to Dropbox to you via Dropbox. It's just emailed video. And that video is something that you can download. So you'll have an archive of downloadable videos that you can also use throughout the program. So you're essentially getting up to, like, if you don't count the live workouts, you get 2 from the meltdown, and then a download that's 3, and then another 3 written, so that's 6. So you don't have to do them all, but that's kind of like where I'm saying do these workouts, you know, so you have the opportunity to do them. Any other questions?
Did you
Are you
see
excited?
my one I typed?
Oh, no, I didn't see. Oh, I think you typed it. Hold on.
I think
Hold
she asked
on.
what heart rate monitor or calorie burner tracker. I saw it pop up.
You don't need that. Honestly, like, I mean, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna base the initial program is gonna be based on what you're doing now. So the questionnaire, the application that you have is gonna be based on what you're doing. So if you're doing workouts with me 5 days a week, you're gonna select that you work out. I would say you're active. You know what I mean? I think there's like a option to say that you're really active or like right before active, you know what I mean? Just like try to be really honest with those selections, and then we get halfway through the program and you're actually doing like 2 a days, or you're doing like a couple workouts, you know, throughout the week, twice a week. Then you're going to select, we're going to change that caloric number again. So I mean, it's more just like playing with, you don't need to know the exact amount of calories that you're burning, because that's more of an estimate. But it's really the initial that we want to start with, and then we'll adjust as we go. Rexy wants to say hi. Say hi, Boopsie. Can you see him? He's doing. Go show them your stance and your running. Rexy will like to be involved as well as much as possible. So. All right, so anything else you guys want to ask or say or do? Ileana, didn't you have questions? Are you shy?
So my questions are about being shy. So you want the picture in the sports bra, which is fine. But so like I yank my pants all the way up to cover my twin pooch belly. That's not attractive to anyone. Like, could I do that, or do you want like that hanging out to show a difference?
No one's gonna see it but you and me. Number one.
Okay.
See what I mean? It's really for you. That's all the picture's for. Is for you. I'm just there because I have to hold you accountable to it. That's really it. If you don't even want me to look at it, I won't. But yeah, you need to show like you need to show your front body. Yeah. Because your circumference, and when you do your pictures, once you apply and you're signed up, that's going to be stuff that I talk to you about once you're signed up, because that's going to be like due on this day. You have to submit your photo. You know what I mean? But essentially, it's going to be, you have to wear a sports bra. You have to take it from the front and from the side, so that it shows your circumference. And when you take circumference, you guys want to make sure you're being consistent with your circumference measurements, because you're the only one who's going to be doing it. Unless you want someone else to do it for you, that same person should do the measurements again for you, because you want as much reliability as you can when you're doing the measurements, right? Same scale. If you're going to weigh yourself, you want to use the same scale. You know, you want to make sure everything's consistent, because that's how we're going to get all the measurements. So. But points are not really going to be from that progress as much. It's going to be more from like, did you do your workouts? Did you meet your calories? Did you do your challenge? Did you post on social media? Like the progress of did you lose a pound is not going to be this major big point like Biggest Loser does, you know? Okay?
I have a
quick question.
Okay.
Okay.
The weigh-in and the measurements are due, you said every other Friday? And we just send those to you via email or text? Right?
Yep. It'll be just like the same measurements that you take in the beginning of your application. Like the same, you know, your weight, your height, or not your height, you're not going to change, but your weight, your circumference measure, your hip to waist to hip ratio, and that's really it. I mean, I'm not asking for like these major measurements. There's going to be a picture due halfway through, and then we're going to do a picture at the end. So there's 3 pictures. You know, like, don't look at it like, again, no one's judging you. You know, like, it's not like something to be like shy about, because I'm the only one who's going to be looking at it. I'm not, unless you're like, I'm cool with you posting it, then I'll post it and give you a shout out, but I'm not going to go up and say post your before pictures and stuff like that. Like, it's only going to be like if you guys are cool with it. So it's really a personal experience that I'm here to support you through. That's the basis of what I want to make this about, you know? Oh, shoot. I forgot I have my pasta boiling. Oh, my goodness.
I was boiling
Okay.
pasta too.
I'm making shrimp dinner tonight, and I'm like, oh, that's what's making that noise over there. So, anyway, so if anybody has any other questions, I'll take them, because I gotta finish cooking dinner. But and again, if you have any other continued questions, or you want to know anything else, just email me, and you still have time to think about it. But you know, I definitely recommend doing something. You know, especially if you're feeling like you're in this plateau, or you want to see kind of some difference in your body or your, you know, lifestyle, then I would definitely recommend it. I mean, it's worth the shot to see kind of how you do. And especially if you've never done anything consistently for 60 days straight, you know, it's a good way to go about it. And even if you have a trip plan, like someone said, oh, I have a week trip plan, that's okay. You can still work out. Like, you have to adjust your lifestyle to it. Like, there shouldn't be like maneuvering your life around like the trip, because there's always going to be a trip. There's always going to be a wedding. There's always going to be this. There's always going to be something that interferes with your fitness, with your lifestyle. You know, so you have to be able to prioritize, plan ahead, make it part of your life, because otherwise you will constantly stay in that cycle. You know.
I have 2 questions. First one, is HIT on tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, thank God. And 2, is that Tina Politis in Canada?
Who?
I don't know if that's the Tina
Which
Politis
Tina?
that I know.
Oh, Tina? No, that's Tina. Oh, Tina? No, that's Tina from Plantation.
Okay, because I know one in Canada. That was my friend.
Oh.
I haven't seen her in forever. Those
No.
are all my questions.
Okay. Anyone else? Emily, Colleen? No?
Wait, you keep cutting off. What time is tomorrow's workout?
5:30 a.m.
5:30?
Rise and shine, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
5, right?
5:30.
Okay.
All right. Oh, but Emily, can you see me? The other Emily, the one who asked Chamberlain, but I know that's not your last name anymore. Do you see me or hear me? If you want to do caloric, like if you have a Fitbit or something and you want to measure your calories, you can. I mean, it's going to make you more successful with the program. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to be obsessed. It's already going to be complicated adding in your calories, what you're eating. So just doing that is going to make it an additional challenge. But if you're kind of already used to doing that, then I would say definitely do it. It'll help the program for sure.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just not really big on measuring like your heart rate and all that because I base everything on how I feel. Like everything's rate of perceived exertion. So I don't like to stare at a clock and look at my heart rate all the time because I feel like we have more potential than what that's actually saying a lot of times. So we limit ourselves because we're focused on this number, and then we're like disappointed because we only got 500 calories, but it's still such an estimate, you know? Just based on how you feel, and then,
Okay.
you know, we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okie doke.
All right, guys, thanks you for joining. If you have any questions, seriously, email me, and I hope you think about joining. Have a good evening.
All right,
I'll see
thank
everyone bright and
you.
early. Bye.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.